Hi y'all, and welcome to the Dirty Ambiance Podcast. We are boom operators talking to persons of interest within our and other departments. We're looking to have discussions about sound solutions, humorous ideas, small sets, the European film industry, as well as the world industry at large, to communicate, learn, and spread a little aloha along the way.
They've worked with those companies that already owns the equipment. All they have to do is supply it. So it's basically living in a van down by the river. It's a dream of mine. It's a dream.
With some interesting results, but with After Effects, because we have different renderings and things like that, I would experiment with the ways in which I could fuck things up.
Wherever you are, have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon. Enjoy yourself. Be well, be happy. If you're dealing with any emotional craziness, deal with it. Grow, challenge yourself, be better, be awesome. I don't know if I said fuck yet in this, but fuck yeah.
We'll just go about introducing the Dirty Ambiance Podcast, episode 4. This is Mr. Kyle Michael Porter's mother, the lovely Anna Porter. And this is based off of a random idea to do this because of a lovely conversation that I was having with her this morning. And hopefully a slight recreation and then elaboration upon that topic. Now that
what are you drinking?
the lovely Anna Porter has made her way back into the room. It's a stout.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And by the way, it's pronounced Anna.
Anna. Okay, perfect. European.
European.
Of course.
Yep, I'm Norwegian mostly.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Anna. Being back in the States, no one pronounces anything correctly.
Well, Swedish people pronounce it Anna. Lots of people pronounce it Anna.
Okay. So even
South American,
yeah.
It's odd.
Anna,
but I
of
think
course.
in Germany they would pronounce it Anna, wouldn't they?
100%. Anna.
Yeah. So
immediately.
German, Norwegian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even if it's Norwegian, it still would make sense. Or I don't know the Norwegian language, but of course, it would make sense that if they have that pronunciation for their vowels. Anna.
It would, but that's why I don't understand why Swedish people pronounce it Anna, because I know a Swedish person named Anna.
They might be doing it based on American media influence.
Oh.
That is very much a possibility.
So. Maybe she just got tired of correcting people.
Could be, and she just lets it happen.
I quit doing a long time ago, and then my kids came along, and they would correct people.
Yeah,
it's
Anna. Of course. No, that's something that it's either you keep fighting for the rest of your life,
right,
or you eventually make it to some sort of understanding. It's like, you know what, I'm going to reconcile with the fact that my name is Anna, and I can look in the mirror every night and say, you are Anna,
right?
But for the rest of the day, I'm Anna. Yeah.
Well, and then, if you do correct people, then they get all like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry." It's like, no,
Oh, you mean like exactly what I just did?
Right. You don't need to be all sorry. I just wanted to let you know. That's all. It's really okay. I'm not one of those kind of people.
Yeah.
I have a really funny story about it when you're coming to tell.
Oh, whenever you like. Whenever you like.
So all my life, correcting people, correcting how they spell it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know? So I, when I was in college,
Yeah.
100,000 years ago,
100,000.
when you wanted to make a long distance phone call, you had to go through the operator.
Yes.
And you could either make it a bill to collect call.
Yeah.
That the other person would pay for.
Yeah.
Or you would be paying for it. So I was in college. I didn't have any money. My parents said, whenever you want to call us, call and collect.
Yeah.
So I called the operator and I said, make this. Oh, you would dial a number.
Of course.
And they would recognize it was a long distance number.
Yeah.
So the operator would come on and she would say, how would you like this call billed? You'd say bill to. And then they would need to get your name because they'd have to get
Are we
permission.
talking rotary dialing?
No, I think we had push button by
Okay.
then, but we were
Okay.
running the verge.
I mean, it's
there
100,000
was
years
still-
ago, so...
There was still rotary dial. In fact, my parents had a rotary.
At that point, one would assume that it's like sticks and rocks.
Right. But it must have been a push button because you could put in the number.
Yeah.
So anyway, I called the operator. I said I want to do this as a bill to call to my parents. And she said, okay, what's your name? And I said, Anna.
Yeah.
And she said, what was that?
Yeah.
And I said, Anna. And she said, oh, how do you spell that? A-N-N-A. Oh, you mean Anna.
No.
You've been saying my name
So,
wrong my entire
yeah,
life. I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
even know.
It's incredible that she was able to figure that out
I know,
so quickly.
I know. She's
Smart
fixed
lady.
everything for me.
Really smart lady.
Really, really smart. Yeah.
I mean,
and thoughtful.
the amount of emotional trauma you must have been through at that point. From this situation going on so long.
So long, and
And-
me being completely unaware of how stupid I was.
Your entire identity is just, it's forever changed.
Exactly.
How-
Exactly. It's like finding out that your Chinese zodiac sign has changed
Yeah.
because they rearranged the calendar. No. No.
I thought, I mean, I know this isn't Chinese zodiac, but...
I mean the zodiac,
oh, wait,
not the Chinese. The
of
zodiac,
course.
not the
So,
Chinese zodiac. The zodiac, yeah.
But
And if you were born after a certain year,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah.
I thought I was a
Which
Sagittarius,
sounds kind of phony to me.
but... what?
Like,
The entire
suddenly after a
zodiac?
certain year, we figured out that they had it all wrong, and so now
Yeah.
you were an Aries, but now you're a Pisces. No.
Well, I mean, usually I go with I'm a Pisces, but I'd rather be a killer whale. But I don't know if you get that reference, though. It's really Bay Area hip-hop rap
Yes.
kind of reference.
Okay.
You do?
No, but it's...
Ah, there's a wonderful song by Andre Nicotina. He's like Bay Area rapper kind of a thing, and for maybe like the last 10 years or so, maybe 20 years actually, probably 20 years. And he's got a song called Killer Whale. And it
Okay.
was the first time, when I heard it, it was the first time I was ever in a car that had a really amazing sound system.
Oh, fun.
And I think we were all probably high on weed at that point. We had
Okay.
just gone to some valley, like really way out there near Fresno, California, but to find some actual hills to do
Okay.
longboarding.
Okay.
And I think there was a race that we did. I think that was set up over the weekend, and that's when we heard it was the drive back. We caught a ride with a different person than we had driven there with.
Driven there?
Droven. Droves of cattle through this entire podcast of conversation. And he puts on this one song, and it was just the most amazing thing of like an experience of like, wow, this is what an actual sound system where someone is curating the experience for people who sit in their car sounds like.
Wow.
Like the subs and like I
Yeah.
have no idea how big they actually were, but just like they're vibrating your heart out of your chest because of the bass and stuff
Right.
like that. And it's just like it's a song that has such amazing low tonal smooth bass, and
Okay.
so it's just like boom, boom. It's very slow. It's not like this really crazy rap song. It's got a lot of slow bass in it. It was just like unbelievable. And then of course being totally high off of our asses with on weed, it was just amazing. It was mind
And
blowing.
you're saying the name of the song was Killer Whale.
Killer Whale,
Because
and
that would be an awesome name for a rap artist. Kill a Whale.
Yes,
I
sure.
think.
So the thing is, with that song, the chorus line for it is, "I'm a Pisces, but I'd rather be a killer whale." Yeah. It's an incredible
That's
song.
awesome.
If you ever get the chance to look it up, check it
will.
out
I
because
totally will.
it's just. If you have a soft spot in your heart for rap.
I do, actually.
Andrew,
Yeah.
can we do a quick clap for sound?
Oh,
Wait.
ready?
Or you... Yeah, go.
Oh my gosh, I think
Sorry.
I just drank out of someone else's wine.
Probably Daniel's. Oh, wait, or that's Daniel's.
Daniel, is this you?
Yes.
I mean, alcohol does kill the germs.
Does wine really have
case.
that much alcohol
I
in it?
don't know. Well, a lot of American wines do. Yeah, they're way too much alcohol in them now.
Daniel's kind of a germy person.
Yeah.
Sorry, Daniel. What do you mean? You mean I have my own bio-ecosystem within my body that just, like, affects other people's ecosystems?
How is that so? Okay, so
Incredible.
what am I doing here?
What are you doing?
What are we doing here?
Well, I'm running around talking and trying to
Okay.
be entertaining.
Okay.
And hopefully supplying enough entertainment for you as well.
Awesome.
I already introduced you before you. When everybody disappeared, I did a little introduction of just like,
And did you
well,
make this
I was
next
attempting to do a podcast at the moment, but now you have the intro and everybody disappeared. So I'm just going to introduce the main person involved in this, the lovely Anna Porter.
Yes.
Because I pronounced it wrong the first time, which is when you came in and corrected me.
Ah, okay.
Yes, exactly. Are you intending to watch that so quickly, or
Oh,
that's
I
just the
wasn't
editing
watching
on it?
that.
Oh, okay.
That was just the
Okay. Do you know Half-Baked Harvest?
half-baked?
Half-Baked Harvest.
No.
Do you have Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, you should check out Half-Baked Harvest
Okay.
on Instagram. I think she's in Wyoming or something like that.
Okay.
And she just makes the most incredible recipes of just incredible recipes. We'll put it
Okay.
that way.
Just all kinds of stuff.
unbelievable.
Okay.
All kinds of stuff.
Okay.
From pies.
But not baking necessarily. But it's all baking?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
Everything. So
Okay.
she does baking to like tacos to just everything, and she puts
Okay.
her own little twist on it with amazing ingredients that just really makes you go, oh my god.
Cool.
Like, you just see the saliva running out of your mouth
Yes.
as this entire recipe happens in front of your eyes. And she
Nice.
films it incredibly well as well.
Oh, so she does them in video.
Partially. She has a blog, so you can go on
Okay.
halfbakedharvest.com. You could order her book. I'm not sponsored by Half-Baked Harvest by anyway.
Yeah.
If anyone's thinking
Not a
that, I'm just
sponsor.
super stoked on this woman's food. She's incredible. Really incredible. And so she has a couple of cookbooks out, I think, and she has a blog that she runs. So the blog is simultaneous with the Instagram. So she'll kind of direct people towards her blog, as in if you want like the entire thing of just like right in front of you, written down recipe instead of just like a really quick video that
Okay.
I did for Instagram, blog is where you find it.
Which is what I prefer. I mean, if it's a difficult recipe or something unusual, then I might
Yeah.
watch the video.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's like, please, just I want to skip through this really cute, the way you're writing. It's a really fun blog. I really get that, but I just need the recipe. Right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Well,
I want the written recipe so I can see what the ingredients are.
the nice thing about the Instagram stuff that she posts is she does incredible like food porn, but then on top of that, the way that she films it is very concise. Because she has to put it up on Instagram.
Right.
And so it's just like, it looks incredible, but it's concise at the same time.
Nice.
And so you get exactly the information you want while having your eyes bedazzled
Right.
by amazing camera shots and lighting and
Fun.
just food galore.
And it's obviously someone with a budget that she can afford.
I'm not sure. I mean, she might have a budget now since she's gotten bigger and she's actually started selling cookbooks and stuff like that.
She's gotten bigger because she's eating so much.
No.
Oh! Not like
She's
that
getting bigger in the sense of the world and exposure. That was not
I have a
nice.
sense of my silly sense of humor.
So, no, she might have a really large budget now, but I think it's just that maybe either her or someone else close to her just had a really great eye for filming the stuff that she
Yeah.
does. It would be
Nice.
amazing if it was just her, because then it's another, like, amazing... let's
Right?
see,
It's like, what, you can do that
incredibly
too?
talented person
Yeah.
all in one.
I don't
Yeah.
think I like her anymore.
Okay, I just did an amazing job talking about this lady, and apparently that was a hard sell to the incredible Anna Porter.
The one and only.
I'm just going to start calling you Anna from now on. After that.
If I don't knock it off. Okay. Sorry, I just felt like being sassy. What can I say? Sometimes you just need a little sass.
That was a slight drop of pessimism.
Has anyone seen my puppy lately?
Where'd that puppy go? He's stealing shoes somewhere. There he is.
Oh,
he's under there.
what?
Wait, the old one or the young one?
The young one.
Yeah, he's under the chair.
Okay, good.
He is totally chill.
Awesome.
I think he's asleep.
Well, what's
He
wrong
does
with
not
him?
care about me being loud.
It's because he ate. It's because he ate the other dog's food, so now he's full and ready to take a nap. Rat. What a brat.
Oh man. The conversation we were having this morning.
Yes.
You were talking about
Yes.
somebody from Boeing.
Right.
And we were talking about some type of way of either project management or
Correct.
trickle down
Right.
fucked
Right.
upness
Yes.
that happens,
Yes.
and how that scheduling can
Or
really
not.
just,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there is very little, I think, in our culture that's not a system,
Yes.
right?
Yes, of course.
Everything is part of a system.
Of course.
I think it's part of our human hubris that we
Ooh, hubris, great word.
that we think that we're, it's that no man is an island, that we're
Yeah.
not. We're all
Yeah.
part of a system.
Yeah.
And what we do impacts not just ourselves.
Sure.
Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to get political, but not wearing a mask, not getting vaccinated doesn't just affect you, it affects other people. But we don't think about that. We don't think about, listen, you two. I don't think
Maybe that's
it's
their
part of our
opinions on
personality. Exactly. I don't think it's part of our human psyche to think that we can't. We need to think more in terms of being part of a system. Do you two need to go out?
Doesn't matter.
And so naturally, when you get into a work situation, it is not natural for us to think that way, even though we should.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is not rocket science. That's the veterinarian.
That's the
talking to them
cheerful
because
vet?
I'm probably in trouble with them.
Is that the name of the business, or
That's the vet. His vet. Yeah.
so? It's his
veterinarian.
business, the cheerful vet.
It is
Or is
Skipper and Truman's doctor.
Okay,
It's
so
called the Cheerful Vet.
oh wow, that's a wonderful name.
Yeah, isn't that great? So what we were talking about earlier today is the whole notion, just as an example,
Yeah.
within the film industry, that there could be a whole different way of thinking if you thought about all the people who should be part of the beginning process, the planning process, and not just the few most important or the key players, right?
Sure.
Being part of location scouting or costume design or whatever it is.
Well, the situation I think that I brought up in my relatability to the topic this morning was that who is thought about as key player or not. The idea of this person is, but this person is not,
Right.
and showing up onto set the first day and having then to figure out an entire week's worth of knowledge or a couple weeks worth of prep within the first couple hours, if not the first 30
If
minutes,
you're lucky.
maybe, if
Right.
you're lucky.
Yeah,
If
to
you're
get
lucky.
that much time. Yeah,
For sure.
And I think that it is typical of the way that we do a lot of business, a lot of projects where multiple disciplines are involved.
Yeah.
That we are very we're very myopic. We only think about so if we have a restaurant, you're the chef, you take care of the food.
Yeah.
You're the server, you just serve the food.
Yeah.
You're the cleanup staff, you just do that, and you
Yeah.
have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah,
No, that's not true.
that's completely untrue.
Okay, you two are going to go outside. Knock it off. So I was sharing with you, and whenever I hear these stories, I'm kind of like, Duh.
Sure.
Are you old enough to remember the
Possibly
V8
not. I'm
commercial?
31. V8 commercials, sure.
But
I
do you remember
V8.
the I could have had a V8?
Of course.
You remember
Of
that?
course.
Oh my God!
Of course.
I thought those were really old. But
Well,
remember,
they were really old.
I guess somebody, they. I don't
30 years
remember
is
the
long
whole
enough
thing,
at
but
this point.
somebody would choose something else to drink, and then they would smack themselves in the head and say, "I could have had a V8."
Sure.
And I feel like that is played out over and over again in any kind of situation where you have a group of people, each with their own discipline, each with their own part of the puzzle to complete, and you realize that maybe those people should talk to each other at some point.
Sure.
And make sure that they're all kind of on the same page. I don't know if you know much about the Boeing Company, but they used to be mostly centralized in the Seattle area, right?
Yeah.
And then they got greedy and they got offered more money to move their administrative offices to Chicago, and they started separating everything out. And then, so instead of everything being designed and manufactured in one place where you've got all the same people working together, we have this part being produced in Sri Lanka, and we have this part being produced in Korea, and this part is being produced in Chile, and we're talking about a giant airplane where all of these bolts this size are being manufactured down there, but the ones that are this size are being manufactured over there.
Sure.
And it created a catastrophe, which is jetliners going down.
They set up the system that did not work, or they set up the system in order
set up a
for it
system
to
that
work?
didn't work.
Okay.
Because instead of having it all centralized, it was cheaper. They could make more money for the shareholders if they shared out all of these different components of an airplane with different companies around the world who had cheaper labor, right? Yeah. And what happened? Those airplanes started going down. Okay. That's in recent memory. Okay. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a newer airplane of theirs, and ultimately it was because they had lost control over the quality of that.
So it's going towards the idea of quantity versus quality.
Right, exactly. It was a way to save money, right?
Sure.
And so, there's an example of how trying to build an airplane with totally disparate people. I mean, even if those people could or did, somebody on their group communicated with the person on the other side of the world, how good do you think that communication was, right?
Sure.
But the story that I was telling you about today was, are you hungry? Because I heard a rumor that you ate the other dog's food.
Is the bag open?
Terrible.
Is the bag open?
No, there's a bowl behind you. Yeah. I'll just put that down and he can nibble on that.
Okay.
Here, can I help you? Hey, here. There you go. Have at it. Knock your socks off. Okay. Anyway, the story goes that my friend told is that...
Looks like he's more interested in the bag. The first time a dog said no to food.
Right?
Incredible.
Oh no, Skipper does it all the time.
We caught that on camera.
Yeah.
The first time in human history that a dog said no to a bowl of food.
So the story that my friend told, who worked for Boeing in the FAA certification department, which is basically the end of the line for any airplane. Okay. And so, his department, he was in charge of the department. They were the ones who got the final product, and then worked with the FAA to come in and do all of their due diligence to make sure that this thing is safe and legal and all that to fly. Okay. Things at Boeing, just like other places, are built on a schedule. Yeah. The customer says, we want 10 of these and we want them on this date. Yeah. And so they would set up the schedule and they, start off in the design department, I guess. Mm-hmm. And those people, let's say they had 6 weeks to do what they were supposed to do, and then they handed off to the fabrication department, and those people had 12 weeks to do what they had to do. And what would happen is, as the project went along, the design department had supposedly had 3 weeks, but I kind of pushed it to 4 because they couldn't quite accomplish it, and now it's a week late getting to the fabrication department, and
Sure.
yeah, those guys, they had some layoffs, or they had to rehire people, or something went wrong, and their 12 weeks now pushed to 14,
Yeah.
and you could see what would happen. The deadline is still out there.
Yeah. Sure.
The plane still has to be delivered here.
Sure.
But you've lengthened these other sections so that by the time it got down to the people doing the FAA certification,
Yes.
where they might have had, 3 weeks to do their work, they now have like 7 days.
Sure. And they are not allowed to go over that deadline, or
No, because, and here's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all on them, right?
Sure.
So if it doesn't get delivered to the customer in time, and Boeing loses some money now because I don't know what happens, maybe there's a penalty they have to pay because they
Sure.
haven't gotten it to the. Guess who gets the heat for that?
The end
people
of the
who
line.
didn't hand it off on time.
The end of the
Hey,
line.
you guys didn't hand it off on time.
Yeah. Sure.
Forget the fact that
Sure.
you didn't have nearly enough time to do your part. That's not the point. The point is,
Yeah.
you handed the plane off late, and now we have to pay a penalty.
Which the point of this entire example of the story would be, you didn't have enough time to do your part.
Ooh.
Whoa!
Whoa! Sound effects.
Forgive the fireworks and explosions in the background.
Just looking to see if you're still awake.
No, yeah, maybe that was perfect karmatic timing for me laying that point down.
So here's the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say. Do you
Yeah.
know who Paul Harvey was?
No.
He was a great journalist who would do
Okay.
this radio broadcast, and he would tell a story like that, and then he'd say, "Stay tuned for the rest of the story." And then there was always some kind of zinger that came at the end.
Yeah.
You thought you had this whole thing figured out, and
Yeah.
then you come back and just like, "Whoa, wait a minute, I didn't see that coming." Anyway, here's the rest of the story.
Okay.
Now, let's see. Company's been around for over 100 years,
Yeah.
right? And making who knows how many,
Yeah.
thousands of airplanes, right? They've been doing this a long time, and they know what they're doing, and right? This is a big
Sure.
company. This is an international company,
Yes.
and my friend who was in charge of this FAA group had this brainstorm one morning. What if we all sat down at the beginning and talked about what all these different deadlines meant and what people had to do, and we got to know each other, so that the guys at this end of the line met the guys at this end of the line and learned about what we have to do and why we need our 3 weeks to do it.
Yeah.
And how when you push yours a week, and then they push theirs 2 weeks, and then they push theirs a few days, it really, if we all came together
Yeah.
and talked about it,
Yeah.
me someplace, right?
Yeah.
And so he went to his boss and presented this idea, and it was kind of like,
You mean communication was a mind-blowing idea at this
yes,
point? Well,
wow! In 125 years, no one has. That's amazing.
Oh,
So they
man.
say it's not in our nature to think that way, or to think about we're part of a system somehow, and
Sure.
what I do affects you.
Sure.
And affects the guy past you,
Yeah.
and right? We're not used to thinking that.
Yeah.
We're myopically focused on I have to do. This
Yeah.
is my box. That's your problem.
Yep.
And it happens everywhere. So it happens in the film industry. It happens in making airplanes. It happens in the building industry a lot of the time. This was no surprise, right?
Wow.
But to me, the bigger
Wow.
surprise is that that's a surprise.
Sure.
That
Sure.
people just don't even think about that.
Yes,
I
of
don't
course.
think I'm not overly intelligent. I'm not a rocket scientist. I can figure that out.
Sure.
Why is that not de rigueur? Why doesn't everybody figure that out?
Sure.
I
Oh,
don't-
man.
I don't get it. Yeah.
This specific situation, I came up with an idea because it's an entirely theoretical idea.
Okay.
For whoever might be listening at the moment, it's an entirely theoretical idea. But if you ever hear about it in the news and it happening, either I solved the situation or I got myself in jail. And this specific idea I had was I was getting frustrated that when I jumped from project to project, each production company had their own format or their own way to their own maybe format or program. Maybe they're just using different computer programs or something like this to write up a disposition, a dispo, the calendar or the schedule that's going to happen the next day.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's not to mention the fact that you only get a schedule the day, like the end of the day for the next day, which makes total sense, of course, for me.
Because things are always changing.
Yes, everything changes. But the fact that I jump from project to project and that each, just the way you see it on paper, the layout of it, as in like where the important information is situated on this like stack of 3 or 4 pages of paper, always seems to be different on every single project. Each production company seems to either create their new own idea of how they should label all or situate all of this information upon the actual paper itself, or they're actually using different programs or whatever.
Right.
And the idea that I thought of was, you know, all of these people, these heads of production companies and whatnot, let's just lure them into the situation of going to a hotel, an amazingly ornate, expensive hotel. Be like, guys, there's going to be beer, there's going to be wine, there's going to be gambling, maybe there'll be cigars. Just come here and hang out. It's going to be a great fucking meeting for the entire industry. Anybody's going to be there. And then as soon as everyone shows up, you just close the door and lock it behind them. And you just play this broadcast through the door as like, you don't fucking come out of there until you all figure out the same fucking format for writing a dispo.
Right.
However long you need. You got food, you got cigars, you got alcohol, have a great time. But you're not coming out until you have the same format for a dispo.
Yes.
And I'm sure maybe I'm the only one that gets confused by it. And it's not really confused by it. It's more of like, it is a waste of my time to have to reorient myself every single project.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. You can argue this to any company if you can make them understand that it's not just a frustration to employees. What do they care? Yep. It's a time and money killer. Hello?
Exactly.
Do you care about how much money you make? Yes. Then you need to fix this.
Sure.
Because it's not working the way it is.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
It's not even about, you don't even have to care about your employees. At all. I mean, you don't.
Yeah, that's usually one of the best arguments. If it's about time and money and time being money.
Yep.
Please make this difference and de-stress the fuck out of it and save yourself some money.
Exactly.
Or at least save yourself the time and the effort that comes out of trying to handle stressed out and irritated employees.
So the other story that I was telling you about is the story about a charrette, an eco charrette.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So one of the hallmarks of green building is something that should be a hallmark of any kind of building, but it's not.
You're talking about architecture.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Not like a greenhouse where you grow things.
Gotcha.
My husband was teaching a class once at a builder's show in Seattle that was open to the public, and it was talking about how to build a greenhouse.
Okay.
And he had several people come thinking that they were going to learn about, the glass buildings that they grow their plants in. No, not a greenhouse. A greenhouse. Okay. So one of the hallmarks of green building is that you first have to understand, and this is really foundational. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to blow your mind away. Be prepared.
I'm ready.
A building is a system. I know, it's shocking, but true. Let's just sink in. Yeah. A building is a system. And so the whole idea in green building is to do something that builders should have always been doing. Thinking of a building as a system.
Okay.
And how do all of the components of this work together to make it a really well-functioning system.
Uh-huh.
Traditional building, if it's the day for the plumber to be there, no one else is on site. If the tile guy is laying tile, no one else is on site. they all operate in a vacuum.
Okay.
So I was telling you that this is inside. We built this really deep green home when we lived up in Washington, and we. I mean, and this was even after we had gone through the process and worked with all of the different disciplines to make sure that we worked together as a system. But it just so happened the plumber would come in and do his stick, because we had a pretty complicated heating and water heating system.
Okay.
And then he would leave, and the next day the electrician would come in and say, why did he do it this way? And undo some things that the plumber had done.
Oh, God.
And then the next day the plumber would come back and say, why did the electrician do things this way?
Yeah.
Do you know how much time and money was wasted with them going back and forth instead of them both being there on the same day and say, hey, let's talk?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I think needs to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I think this needs to happen. Okay, so how do we make this work together,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
That's just a small example. But in green building, they talk about at the very beginning of the process, in order to build this building as a system, is at the beginning of the process, you get all of the important stakeholders together. And it's called an eco-charrette.
Okay.
And the word charrette in French means cart. And it comes from the period of the Beaux Arts period in France, when the proctor, I don't know, the assistant to the master artist would go around with the cart to collect all of the apprentice artist's works to be brought back to the master artist for critique.
Okay.
And of course, like all typical young people in schools, they had not finished, a lot of them hadn't finished, and so then not only is he collecting their art, but collecting them as well. So now there's all these people hanging off his carts trying to finish their art before it gets back to the master artist.
You mean in the sense of actually riding the cart?
Yeah, actually
along?
riding along
Okay.
on the cart. And so the image for the green building community is that you have it's and this was very fast. This was done really quickly because you got to get it done before it gets back to the school, right?
Sure.
And you may not have much time.
Yeah.
And so with the eco building charrette, you get all of the people together in the same place.
Yeah.
All of the people representing all the disciplines, every single component that's going to go into that house.
Yeah.
Maybe even the real estate agent who's going to be selling it, if it's a spec home, the mortgage banker who may be financing it, a person who may be actually buying it. I'm talking ideally everybody.
Yeah.
Because who are you building this for, right? And who's going to finance it when you get it done? And who's going to sell it for you, right? We got some horror stories about that. So you get all the people together, and it's not a long meeting. It's a quick meeting, and you basically say, okay, this is your chance. Say your piece.
Yeah.
What do you need? What do you need from us? What do you need from other people? How do you think we should do this? Handle this component.
Yeah.
And then you start really getting into the building of it, but not until you've had that conversation with everybody.
Sure.
And it's amazing the stuff that came out of that too, because we had certain ideas about what we wanted to do. We get experts in there who start talking back and forth and saying, well, you have this to consider and that to consider, and pretty soon we're in a completely different place.
Yeah.
You know, we're not doing solar power so much, but now we're doing geothermal.
Okay.
Things like that.
Yeah.
That we might not even have thought of.
Yeah.
So the possibilities for collaboration are enormous, right?
Of course. And the end product that comes out of that collaboration is something that is a more cohesive unit.
Yes.
It's something where even if it's not necessarily the most cohesive unit, you still have an understanding of what everyone else is doing.
Well, you certainly have a
move
much
along.
better chance of it being and performing the way you wanted it to.
Yeah.
Right?
Or
you
at
have
least
this
you know
vision.
at the end of this conversation what it's going to move forward as. So even if you went into it with a different idea, but your expectations were managed and you somehow went into it going, okay, well, maybe I need to change my idea of how this is going to turn out based on
Maybe it's
solar
going
versus
to be a
geothermal.
camel instead of an elephant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
I got that.
But
yeah.
at least you know at the end of this conversation what it's going to be, and then have the best chances of moving along into the direction of this is what everyone knows it's going to be, and then they walk into that situation going, I'll just play my part. I'm
Well,
happy.
you know,
I'm totally happy about
Part
it.
of the problem also that we're dealing with here is ego.
Okay.
And, you know, there are some people on the planet who don't like being told what they should do,
Okay.
or that their idea may not be stellar,
Really?
that it might, yeah.
Those
there
people
are.
exist?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
There's a few of them. And I could see that there might even be a few of those in the film industry.
No. I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Highly
Like,
doubt it.
I've never run
That'd be
across
so
anyone
rare,
like that.
right?
Yeah, unicorns. Really.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think they affect the major industry on the whole. No.
Fringe. The
Fringe,
people.
definitely
Yeah,
fringe.
definitely.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had a music teacher in junior high whose one of his favorite sayings was, "You gotta wanna."
You gotta wanna. Okay.
Gotta wanna, right?
Please explain.
Well,
Please elaborate.
if you want to accomplish something, or if you want
Yeah.
right to get better at something or whatever,
Yeah.
you gotta wanna.
You gotta
Right?
wanna do
And
it.
if you don't-
You gotta wanna.
And so if you want your company to be successful and it's going to take this, you gotta wanna. You better want this, right?
Yes.
If you don't, then you're not going to care if the sound guy gets screwed.
Sure.
You don't care.
Sure. And you don't care if the camera guy gets screwed. You don't care if costume.
Nope. Nope.
Costume. That was
Yeah.
a German pronunciation of costume. If the costume people have no idea what's going on, or they have no idea
Right.
when they're actually supposed to say, "Oh man, German and English. I'm losing my English at the moment." In German it'd be a Kostümwechsel. Costume change. Costume change.
Costume change.
Whatever it is. I agree.
Yes.
I'm getting
that-
lost
what
in
that
German
man
and English
said,
at the moment. Yeah, there's two brains fighting in my
Yes.
head right now. Oh man, this reminds me of something that Kyle told me about in the car ride down to LA. He told me about the Gargoyle Protocol.
Yes.
You know about the Gargoyle Protocol?
I helped invent it.
Oh, I knew it.
Yes.
Everything that you were talking about is a driving force, if not the actual support behind the Gargoyle Protocol.
Yeah. And the whole idea here is that it not only was to protect us as a company,
Uh-huh.
and when I say protect, I don't mean we're necessarily in danger.
Sure.
But if we wanted this project to be successful, and what does that mean? We wanted it to be done to the that we wanted the customer to be happy with it.
Yes.
We wanted to feel good about it.
Yes.
We wanted to get it in on time, on budget, all of those kinds of things. So it was important to us, but it's also important to them.
Yes.
And particularly in that business, which was the video business, if we didn't put, and some people actually were put off by the protocol, and that was a good thing,
Sure.
because then we knew we didn't want to work with them.
Yes.
You know, if you either don't feel like you have the time to go through this and figure it all out, or you think it's too much work, or you just don't want to bother trying to find all the answers, thank you, have a nice day.
Sure.
Right? Because in the end, we would have gotten screwed. So what's the point of taking that business if they couldn't figure it out and we couldn't help them figure it out?
And I would say that screwed part is more about not necessarily money, but more so time and stress.
Yes.
The amount of effort you're going to put in, you might get compensated for it, but really is that level
Yeah.
of stress
Worth
are
it.
you able? Yeah, is it worth it? Are you
Yeah.
able to compensate for the amount of stress I put on my body, my mind, all of my time? That for me would say, like, okay, if you're going to put me through that stress, and I know I'm going to go through the stress because you don't want to think about it right now.
Right.
Okay, my rates just went up like 500%.
Exactly.
And that's what my
and that was
stress
some-
time
because,
is worth.
because if I'm going to do
Yeah.
a project for you,
Yeah.
and you don't share your expectations with me,
Sure.
at what point can I say, hold on, I have now met your expectations, so you're asking for more,
Yes.
and that is going to cost you more. Have you ever heard of fuck you, pay me?
No.
Oh,
No.
I can't believe Kyle hasn't told
Have
you about
you?
fuck you, pay me.
Daniel, have you?
That was the reference.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a guy, some guy who did it's a video.
it could be that Kyle was telling me about it. It sounds familiar, but
Yeah,
please explain.
this guy is doing a conference
Yeah.
with creatives, people. In this particular case, it was people who create websites for people,
Yeah.
right? And he was talking about, how do you know how much to charge, and more importantly, how do you get paid for work that you do that isn't, that the customer doesn't take into account, right?
Sure.
Change orders in the building industry.
Okay.
Change orders, and you pay.
Okay.
So this is the building project. You want to add just this little thing on there? Guess what? That's a change order.
Yeah.
And that costs more money.
Sure.
Because it costs me more money, and it costs me more time, and it's going to cost you more time.
Yes.
And oh, by the way, it also may make your interest rate go up on your loan. I mean, all those kinds of things. So you need to be sure that this is what you want.
Yeah.
But if you add those, it costs money.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. Well, in the business, creatives business,
Yeah.
as you know, that's harder to.
That's really hard to
It's
negotiate.
not set up that way.
It's
It's not.
not.
They're not set up that way. Where the building industry has been doing this for decades, right? And so he's talking to them about how you protect yourself from being screwed, right?
Yeah.
And you're the customer comes to you and says, "This is the website I want. This is what I want."
Yeah.
And you do that, and then
Yeah.
they come back and say, "Well, could we tweak here, and could we do this?" And pretty soon you're putting in just as much time on something you had not. And how are you going to get paid for it? And it's called "Fuck You, Pay Me." How do you get paid for doing this? You say, "Fuck you, pay me." Kyle and I've had lots of those experiences where it's like,
Wait, so are you and Kyle working together?
we did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We did for a few years. We had we did some video and film work
Okay.
for hire. And,
Oh, this is how you ended up on In Their Memory?
yes.
Gotcha.
That was actually our own personal project that we decided to do, but it certainly did help, give us some credibility. Look, we've done this thing.
Yes.
Where we made the money was in commercial stuff, so
Sure.
training videos and things like that.
Okay.
Which is a whole other thing. Don't even get me started.
We'll save that for the next time.
Yeah, I mean, as not only as an organizer kind of person, but also my degree is in communication arts. Although you wouldn't necessarily know that now, but I would like to say I'm a postmenopausal woman, and that's my thing. So sometimes they say really weird things, or it's like, no, that's not what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Anyway, it just drives me up the wall when people can't get the two most important things
Yeah.
in a project. Or in anything, in a relationship or anything, communication and organization, right? Communicate. I don't care if you're working with a customer. I don't care how badly a project is going.
Sure.
If you communicate to them every step of the way,
Yeah.
you're going to come out in the end in a much better place.
Oh, for
but
sure.
if you run away and hide, which has happened to us so many times, it's like, do you think this is improving the
You
situation
mean in the sense
any?
of you guys running away and hiding, or the customer?
No, the customer
Yes, of
or
course.
the person who, the customer,
Sure.
or in our case, sometimes the person that we're working, that is hiring
With.
us to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That comes down to avoidance.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And if you think that's really going to improve the situation, I got news for you.
Absolutely
It doesn't.
not.
But the other thing is being organized. Be someplace, right? This video should have been done an hour ago, 10 minutes ago, but that's okay because I'm talking to it.
I'm
But-
totally distracting.
No, it's fine.
Can I help in any way?
Maybe.
Yeah.
No.
Let me know. I'll wash my hands and help you.
So, but anyway,
I mean, we started this with you saying you didn't want any help.
I know, right?
But I would gladly help you finish at this point because it needs to get done, and I've taken up your actual cooking
It's
time.
really okay.
Because you love talking with your hands.
I do. Okay, so I need to melt the butter, stir in the flour. I'm going to make a roux, add the chicken broth, stir in the sour cream, and the green chilies. Okay.
Whoa.
This.
That was a very quick.
Oh,
Gotcha.
the flour is underneath.
Of course. The
There.
audio recording equipment.
Forgot about that. Let's
I
see,
didn't know it
need
was part of your recipe.
3 tablespoons of flour, probably. usually 1 to 1.
There is a...
Oh, that's just a scoop.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. So communication and organization. If things just go so much better if you're organized from the get-go, and if you know.
Can I help you organize from the get-go?
Yes.
for our end game on this
so
recipe?
Probably in here, we'll take a saucepan out. Oh no, we need a bigger one. How about that guy there? And we're gonna melt the butter. You know how to make a roux, right?
Nope.
Okay, you're gonna melt the butter, put in the flour, whisk it around for about a minute, and then we slowly whisk in. Oh, now you need to know how to work the stove, right?
Sure.
I'll do it at 7.
So melt the butter first, then the flour goes in.
And then flour goes in, whisk
Gotcha.
it around for a minute, and then whisk in that chicken broth.
Okay, as soon as the butter is melted, flour's in, and mixed, then whisk in the
then
chicken
whisk it in
broth.
the
Gotcha.
Yep. To me, organization is
Oh, this induction. Oh,
yes.
nice.
Yeah, so don't take it.
Lovely. Do you have a whisk?
Should be up in there.
Gotcha.
People who refuse to be organized in a project, to me, are very selfish. And
can you explain?
well, the reason I say that is because if we're in this together,
Sure.
and I have to have access to the same tools that you're using,
Yeah.
for instance, and you don't put those tools back where they belong,
Oh, good point.
what does that do for my part of the job?
Sure.
If I have to go looking for those tools,
It's a waste of time.
it's a waste of time.
It's an entire waste of time.
Yeah, and a waste of money. And is it too high?
A little bit.
Okay.
We're down to 3.
And so, so to me, the two keys to success in any kind of a collaborative effort are communication and organization. Be organized as much as you can for everybody's benefit, right?
Of course.
And part of that organization is making sure that you have all the players involved. Everybody has a voice, right?
Oh. Of course, that's the Gargoyle Protocol.
Yeah.
Everybody should have a voice.
Everyone should have a voice.
I mean, it doesn't... I mean, of course it comes down to...
you may not
maybe
have
your voice is a little bit... not more important, or not more important, but more, maybe it's softer than someone else's.
There's a difference between having a voice and being a decision maker.
Yes, exactly.
That's two different things.
Exactly.
But if you're the decision maker, you ought to be listening to all the voices,
Of course.
right? But you gotta wanna.
You gotta wanna.
You gotta care enough that
To actually
the rest
listen.
of those people might have something to say about this, might have a reason. But if you don't care, then you don't care. So how do you make such a major change in an industry?
Well,
Get them to
hopefully...
think about.
Oh, yeah, get them to think. That's a big part. Get them to think. You might think and then do something different, as opposed to not doing something different. You might think, and then seeing something like this might make you think and go, okay, well, I like your opinion and I like your point of view, but I'm going to do something different. 100% totally fine.
Totally fine.
Everyone
Exactly.
is entitled to doing
But you
exactly
saw
what
that-
they want,
Yeah.
exactly what they're going to pay money for, go for it. I'm just trying to create an advocacy, a movement, a flow for think about other people and how your actions affect other people.
Right, and ultimately
Yeah.
affect the whole project.
Exactly.
Because in the end, that's what it is, right? It's the project, and that's what everybody cares about. Otherwise, they wouldn't be working on it.
100%.
Right?
Well, I mean, a lot of people are definitely in there for, it is a job, I'm going to make money. Not everybody has passion.
in the
But
industry.
maybe they would have more passion if they had more say also.
Yes and no. There
Maybe.
are quite a few
Maybe.
people that I've run into where they got into it just because it is a job, and it's not necessarily like they are super passionate about film, but it's a job that makes a lot of money because of either you get paid well or you get paid well for overtime hours or
Right.
anything like that. I've definitely run into the situation where I've walked on the set and someone has a problem with me because I asked them to do their job more than someone else has ever asked them to do their job
Yes.
before. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
okay,
They're-
well, I'm a boom operator. Right now, I need to walk through this path. It is off camera, and I need to walk through this path. And can you please move the stool? Because you are props. You are in requisite. You that's yours. If you want me to touch it, I can touch it. I can be the fucking gaffer that walks in and just like kicks the stool out of the way. If you want me to be an impolite bastard. And
Right.
on that exact project was the
Well,
gaffer
in fact,
that
if
walked
you're-
around just like kicking shit out of the way. And I'm like, I'm trying to be polite right now and you're hating me for it?
Right?
Fuck you!
Well, and if you're in a union shoot, there are situations where you can't touch that. It has to be touched by the union person.
Sure, which makes sense in a way because of the delegation of certain. I've lost the word, but either way,
Glad I'm not the only one.
I try to. I've lost another word. I do my best to. Wow, lost it. Even rewording the sentence at this point isn't working. Not exemplify. Not.
Oh. Where's the thesaurus?
Produce, not. I try to act. I will use act. It's not the word I'm looking for, but
Right.
I try to act in this manner that
Yes.
this is your department, this is your stuff,
Right.
and your organization, and you might have put it there for the exact reason that it should be there
Right.
in this situation. So I don't want to fuck with your organization.
Right.
What I would like to do is tell you that your organization should change in this moment so I can do my job,
Yes.
and then your organization can, it's supposed to be fluid organization throughout the entire process. And yeah, I've had people just hate me for being the boom operator that comes along and says, okay, this is what I need, this is how I need to do my job right now. And they just don't understand
And you know what?
that...
I don't care.
Exactly. They don't understand that I might be the person coming along and saying, okay, any boom operator you might have had any kind of experience with before has not been trying to do as good of a job as I'm trying to.
Right.
Now I might fuck up, and I might go through the situation and be like, okay, well that didn't work, but it is also your job to allow me to do my job.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
If I'm going to move the stool and you don't want to move the stool, I will gladly move the stool back to its original place for you after I've taken a picture so I know exactly what spot it was in,
Right.
or marked out the ground with tape. So, because it's off frame or whatever, so I know exactly where it was, so I don't fuck with your organization, but please don't fuck with me doing my job.
Right.
Now that the rants and the raves.
And another thing.
Are you trying to work on framing at the moment?
No, I'm trying to. Should I say anything? Can I say?
You can say whatever you want, man.
Oh, what the fuck?
You can walk through the frame
Well,
if you
not
like.
that. You can't
because,
say that.
Because it's two cameras, you can walk through this frame, which is the master, and I just cut immediately to the close-ups. Or we just show you in the master, and you are a part of this.
Interesting. So
Interesting. That's your best comment at the moment. Interesting. So,
So you're going to cook this until it's
I think it's...
thickened.
yeah, when
Until
it's
it's
all
thickened.
So-
incorporated.
So then I'm going to go back over the heat.
Yeah, maybe turn
Yeah.
it up a little.
Because you're gonna put the chicken stock in, and it's gonna bring the temperature down. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just for
Oh,
the sake
you were
of
making a comment
efficiency.
on the efficiency of the situation. So the professional chef at the moment is the one
Right.
behind the camera. He actually has professional chef experience.
We
and-
switched. We switched roles tonight.
What do you call that hat?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want my top hat for camera.
I think the shoe is on the other
Other
table, which has
table.
been turned.
Yes.
Not the dog at the shoe.
Oh, the dog stole the shoe, which
Shoe
should be on the table, which
table.
should have been turned.
Yes.
But because, the order got mixed up, we're just
Exactly.
fucked up in this situation of somehow the people that usually work behind the camera are in front of the camera.
Exactly.
And the guy who does catering for amazing restaurants is behind the camera.
Behind the camera. God knows why. Is that
I just turned it up,
okay.
so it might take a couple minutes.
I'm being
No worries. You're hovering.
So I'm hovering.
You're being a helicopter chef.
I'm sorry. I'm being
I'm doing my best to be a sous chef right now. And
I will not hover. You know what the end goal is? There's nothing more for me to do here.
So I've taken over your visit. Tooken.
You really are.
That was George in the Jungle with the toucan. Do you remember that movie?
Oh my gosh.
George in the Jungle?
I know. I mean,
Where he puts on the Nikes. It was Brendan Fraser. And he puts on the Nikes and like runs across like wherever the fuck, because Nikes apparently make you run faster, and it's kind of like PF Flyers from the Sandlot.
Yes.
Guaranteed to make you run faster,
Yes.
jump higher. And apparently get in with the woman who's the lifeguard at the community pool.
because you're fast. Because that's what women want. I don't know.
Oh, that's who Dave's dog reminds me of. The dog in the Sandlot.
Oh, Buster?
Yeah,
oh,
sure.
kind of.
I mean, they're totally different breeds.
Right.
Completely
but
different
same
breeds.
kind of,
and he's
same,
much nicer.
same demeanor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course, because by the end of the film, you understand that the dog is just actually nice. He barks at people, but when he actually falls in and gets stuck with the dog just like licks his face and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hi, new friend.
I just met you and I love you.
I've been stuck in this fucking junkyard forever, and this guy just like, I just guard cars and I don't get to play anybody with a ball. Here's your baseball."
So Anna, is that cutting onions for garnish on top after you put it in the oven? Or?
No, I actually started worrying that I wasn't going to have enough food for everybody, and so I decided to add just some little street tacos to the.
Okay.
Are you having any success?
If I could jump in on the questions at the moment,
Yeah.
how thick do you want it?
Can I feel it?
Yes. It's
I think
thicker
that's
than
good.
water.
I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take it
You're
off the
gonna
stove,
add
good?
these- Yeah, take it off the stove.
Okay.
You're going to put this in and these in and just mix those all together.
Okay.
And then you're going to pour the whole thing over the top of this.
Oh,
And then we're
this is
gonna
amazing.
sprinkle
Are you making
cheese on it.
enchiladas?
Yeah.
Like tiny enchiladas?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And all these.
I had turkey enchiladas for Christmas dinner. This last Christmas.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes, it was amazing. Oh wait, no, that was the day before. That was Christmas Eve dinner, and then for
okay.
Christmas dinner we actually looked up how to do a ham, because in Germany you cannot find a pre-brined ham.
Oh, interesting.
It just does not exist. It doesn't exist. So we had to get like an actual chunk of like just raw ham.
Well, yeah.
And start from the beginning.
And start from the beginning, yeah.
It was amazing.
It was
amazing.
probably really good. I have yet to do that, but I want to
It
do
doesn't
that.
take as long as you would think.
It's the time. You need
It
the time.
takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time, of course, but not as long as you would think. I think our recipe was about 2.5 hours at most.
Really? To turn it into a ham?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And it came out perfect.
Wow.
Perfect. Like incredible. I love how you just opened the fridge at the moment without thinking about it,
I know.
and I just somehow figured out the laptop to hover above the door. Thank you for the piece of wood up there.
You're welcome.
I put some cream on my nose.
Oh. A little facial cut at it.
A little bit of makeup at the moment. So, those are done. That's done.
Okay.
Get that off of there.
Hi,
Okay, and just
puppy.
completely mixed in
Yeah,
and
I'll
then
mix
pour
it
it over
and
the
just
top.
pour it over the top of this guy.
Do you need this guy again? Oh,
No.
we can take that off the...
You can use it to scoop the stuff out of the pot if you want.
Cool.
Okay, 20 to 25. Okay, perfect.
So, do you have any future projects coming up with the lovely Kyle Porter?
Well,
Or possibly me?
or possibly you. Yeah. You know, we're creatives. We are always thinking about things. We don't necessarily, don't necessarily come to fruition.
Well, I mean, with In Their Memory, that definitely came to fruition.
Yes.
I still haven't watched it yet.
Well,
I haven't seen
I
it
don't
yet.
blame
I
you.
haven't seen it. No. I want to see it. I've
Okay.
just, over the last 3 weeks, I have
Yeah.
absolutely no time.
Yeah.
I've slept maybe an average of 4.5 hours each night over the last 3 weeks. Well, I mean, I took this trip down to LA, and then I flew to Hawaii for 24 hours, and then I somehow randomly came into the situation of starting my own production company, which I have no idea how I did it, but purely by accident.
So
all of a sudden Kyle's like, you are an auteur, and you started your own production company. I salute you.
Hanson tattoo?
Without the I salute you and the clapping, that was my own exaggeration. But he called me an auteur.
An auteur.
Which not an author, but
an
auteur. I think you know what this word means.
Yeah.
He had to explain it to me. I had no idea what it was, and I thought he was just mispronouncing
You didn't want to embarrass him, but
embarrass him? About what?
Because he was pronouncing it wrong.
No, I didn't want to. And so I made sure, like, wait, are you saying author? Because I know I was a co-writer on this screenplay at the moment, but what do you mean? He's like, no, auteur. And then spent through Hidden Valley Organic, whatever, like, country on the coast.
Yes.
Like, we're driving through Happy Cow Country, where you just see, like, these rolling green hills of just amazingness, and these cows that are just like, oh my God, I'm a California cow. Like, I got ocean air going on.
I got it all.
Fresh grass in my diet. They're just lazy, laying around like, oh my God, we're living the life right now. Butcher me next week, please. I need to live longer. I don't want to die.
Because of course you know that if we didn't eat beef, those cows wouldn't exist anyway.
They're dairy cows.
Oh, the dairy cows.
The Hidden Valley Organics, they're dairy cows. So if we didn't drink milk, they wouldn't exist.
If we didn't drink milk, yeah.
Sure. It's kind of like dogs. If they weren't so cute, we'd kill them.
Yeah, exactly.
That was an inside joke from before. I don't think that way.
No, it's true.
Kind of, and that doesn't say much for humanity. You know, a lot of dogs would not exist if they weren't so cute. That's just kind of a bummer.
Well, we'd be in a lot more trouble. I actually think that is an evolutionary trait for all animals. I think that in their mothers, at least their mother's eyes, they're cute.
Sure.
Because all babies are cute, and so why are they so cute?
Even if they're ugly.
Even if they're ugly. No, when they're ugly, they're not cute. Beautiful, perfect.
Pour
that sucker over.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna sprinkle the rest of this cheese on the top and just stick it in the oven.
Let's see what happens. Whoa, these are some very soupy enchiladas.
Yeah, hopefully.
The way that I've made it before is usually just a green sauce on top, like a salsa verde, and then a little bit more onions, and then maybe some cheese, like a layer of cheese on top.
This is a recipe that I found on Pinterest.
Okay.
That sounded appealing.
Which is why maybe you'd be interested in half-baked harvest. I have no, I have no monetary affiliation with it. I am 100% sure. She's just amazing. She's amazing. I think her name is Megan. Regan, maybe? I don't know. Reagan?
Something like that.
I don't know, but she's incredible. She is incredible. Guys, always rinse your dishes right after you use them, because that whole put them in the sink, don't rinse them, and then everything sticks to it part is just fucking horrible. And that's our entire conversation today in a nutshell.
Exactly.
Think about other people.
Think about the
other people could be yourself in the future.
Yeah, think about yourself.
Yes, think about yourself. More to come on that topic in future episodes.
Well, back to how you change your industry. I think that it was very telling when my friend at Boeing did go and talk to his boss.
Did go and talk to what?
To his boss about his idea, and I told you that it was like, whoa,
that's communication idea.
Brand new idea.
Mind blowing.
And that's what you don't know. You don't know that someone else may not really have thought of it before.
Yeah.
So you're thinking to yourself, this is so obvious. Why why wouldn't they? But maybe it's not obvious to them. And so by you bringing it up, it might blow some minds. It might make some people really kind of rethink.
This is also a huge part of communication within the process. That if you are scared to tell your opinion or scared to say, we need to stop right now because this situation is not working, because I'm the person either looking through the camera or I'm the person who's listening to the audio, if you're actually scared to stop
and tell them, by the way, you're not be happy with this.
That's completely fucked up.
Get done,
it's a waste of time for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a complete waste of time for everybody. It doesn't matter how much effort the director in this situation puts into, okay, you say this and say that and say this and say that. If you can't fucking hear them, you can't see them, or they're blocked in some way where you know the lighting is just fucked, and you might be able to see them, but it just looks terrible.
Right.
There is no reason to bully your crew into not being able to just say, hey, one moment, let's just start over, quick 5 seconds, let's reframe this,
right.
Done. Or even just a quick 5 minutes where you de-stress the situation entirely.
Yeah.
I've had I've had one director specifically that just, like, will scream at people.
Yeah.
Like, just tear them apart on set, in the sense of, you're doing your job at the moment, but you're interrupting me right now in my kingdom. How dare you?
How dare you?
I pay you.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you paid for?
Yeah.
And it's like, the simple answer is to tell you it looks like shit right now.
To
or
help
it
you
sounds like
come
shit.
up with a product that you're going to be happy with at the end.
That's the point.
By the
We're
way.
paid to be there to support you.
Yeah.
To support you. And all we want to do is go, bro, this was an amazing project. We were here and we got it done.
And we did it.
And it sounds great. It looks great. It feels great.
It's
like
beyond our expectations.
Beyond our expectations. But that's the point. Our expectations.
Yes.
As opposed to yours.
Yeah.
You there at the top and just giving a fuck all about whoever else involved.
Yeah.
Else is involved.
And obviously there are some people that you're never going to change their minds on that, but
Yeah.
we gotta try.
Well, either hopefully they change their minds based on a new idea, fresh blood coming in, and them recognizing, okay, this is the way that it's going to go, this is the new way it's going to change and move forward, this is the new flow of things, or they somehow just get flowed out. They get moved out from the position that they're in, and someone comes along to replace them that hopefully creates much better on-set vibes, a much better feeling, because the amount of hours that people work on set, at least in Germany, the amount of hours that people work on set, they spend more time on set when they're working than they do with their family, with their personal time. It is lifetime you are spending to be there. Of course, you are getting paid. But really, if you think about it, if anyone thinks about it, how much is your time actually worth? If you think about it and put in the perspective, I don't get it back.
Right.
Ever. I will never get this back. I might not know what to do with my time right now, but the fact that I will never have it back, that it is a very minute, tiny, infinitesimal thing that you just won't get back. And then your life is comprised of all of these moments that are so important. They cost so much, and you're selling yourself so short for not having a good time, not having lifetime, as opposed to just work time the entire time.
Yeah.
The entire process should really be built on, well, we know that you are spending a part of your life to create this. You are getting paid for it, of course, but we're also going to compensate you with good energy and just a great fucking feeling for making it happen. You're a part of it. And you've sacrificed part of your life to make this either piece of artwork or this piece of shit romantic comedy or whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
We're making money off of it, but at least you felt great. Thank you for feeling great. That would be awesome. That would be fucking awesome. Whew.
Yeah.
Breath. I should take a few more breaths while I'm going on a rant and a rave. And do you wash these up? Do you recycle
Yes,
the
I do.
Ziplocs?
You can
Okay.
just toss it in the sink.
Oh, there's the recycled spot for the Ziploc.
I will go under the frame at the moment.
You see this? This is how a boom operator understands A and B camera.
Yes.
The one that's important at the moment is the B camera. That one with, oh, it's on me. Shit. Fuck you, Daniel. You fucked over my example. You fucked over my example. Yeah. So, that's going in the oven. That's cooking. That's cooking.
We're gonna put together I was gonna put together a salad, but you know what? Maybe instead.
I told you about them knife skills.
Yes, you
I
do.
can go for the salad.
Do you guys have any inspiration over cauliflower that you
Yes.
cooked?
Breaded and lightly fried in butter.
Okay. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
I just need a pan about this. Well, how much do you want to make? How small should it be? Is it going to go inside something or stand alone?
It's gonna stand alone.
Okay.
Do you want
Then this is. I'll put most of them in half so they're slightly more bite size.
Yeah.
And what is there? Dirty Ambiance Podcast. We come to you wherever you might be. See you on set or on a mountain, in your kitchen or on a beach, where there will be lights, sound speed, camera rolling, action.